Freedom is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them without being consumed by fear. It is the realization that we are not our circumstances, our possessions, or even our thoughts. We are the awareness behind these things, the presence that observes us without judgment. This awareness is the source of our power. It allows us to step back, to see the bigger picture, and to respond to life from a place of clarity and intention, rather than reaction. When we operate from this place, we are no longer at the mercy of external events. We become the creators of our reality, shaping our lives, not out of fear, but out of love. Love is the essence of who we are. It is not something we need to earn or achieve, but something we need to remember. In our true state, we are love, unconditional, infinite, and unshakable. But over time, we forget this truth. We allow the world to tell us that we are not enough, that we must prove our worth through achievements, appearances, and approvals. This illusion creates a sense of separation, not just from others, but from ourselves. The journey back to love is a process of unlearning these illusions, of stripping away the layers of conditioning that obscure our true nature. And as we do, we begin to see the world through new eyes. We see the interconnectedness of all things, the beauty in the mundane, and the divinity in each moment. This perspective shift is not about denying the challenges of life, but about approaching them with a different mindset. Challenges are not punishments, but opportunities for growth. They are the universe's way of helping us evolve, of guiding us toward our highest potential. When we face these challenges with an open heart and a curious mind, we begin to see them for what they are, gifts in disguise. They teach us resilience, compassion, and gratitude. They remind us of our strength and show us what truly matters. And as we navigate these challenges, we discover that we are capable of far more than we ever imagined. Our capabilities are not fixed, they are ever expanding. The limits we perceive are often self-imposed, born out of fear and doubt. But when we push beyond these limits, when we dare to dream bigger and take bold action, we tap into a reservoir of potential that is infinite. This is not about striving for perfection, but about striving for authenticity. It is about being true to ourselves, honoring our unique gifts and sharing them with the world. Each of us has a role to play, a contribution to make. And when we step into that role with confidence and humility, we create ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. These ripples are the essence of impact. We often underestimate the power of our actions, thinking that we must do something grand to make a difference. But impact is not measured by size, it is measured by authenticity. A kind word, a genuine smile, a moment of presence, these seemingly small acts have the power to transform lives. They remind us that we are all connected, that our actions matter, and that we have the ability to create a more compassionate world. Compassion begins with ourselves. It is easy to be hard on ourselves, to dwell on our mistakes and shortcomings. But self-compassion is not indulgence, it is necessity. It is the foundation of self-love and self-growth. When we treat ourselves with kindness, we create a space for healing and transformation. We begin to see our worth not as something conditional, but as something inherent. And from this place of self-acceptance, we can extend compassion to others. We can see beyond their actions and into their hearts, recognizing that we are all on a journey, each doing the best we can with what we know. This understanding fosters unity. In a world that often emphasizes division, unity is a revolutionary act. It is the recognition that beneath our differences, we are all the same beings seeking love, connection, and meaning. This does not mean we must agree on everything, but it does mean we must respect each other's journeys. It means we must listen with open minds and open hearts, seeking to understand rather than to judge. And as we do, we create a world that is not only more inclusive, but also more vibrant, a world where each person feels seen, valued, and empowered. Empowerment is the gift we give to ourselves and to others. It is not about control, but about liberation. It is about helping others see their own strength, their own potential, and their own worth. When we empower others, we create a ripple effect of positivity that extends far beyond our immediate circle. We inspire them to step into their power, to pursue their dreams, and to live with purpose. And as they do, they in turn empower others, creating a chain reaction of transformation. This chain reaction is how we create lasting change. It is not about waiting for someone else to take the lead, but about taking responsibility for our own lives. It is about recognizing that we are not separate from the world, but an integral part of it. Our thoughts, words, and actions have the power to shape reality, not just for ourselves, but for those around us. This is both a privilege and a responsibility. It calls us to live with intention, to align our actions with our values, and to be the change we wish to see. The true power of the human spirit lies in our ability to envision possibilities beyond the present moment, beyond our current circumstances. To truly step into the future, we must first understand the role we play in shaping it. It is so easy to get caught up in the limitations of the present, to fixate on the obstacles that stand before us, the problems that seem insurmountable. But these are the very things that challenge us to expand our understanding, to push past the boundaries of what we know, and to break free from the self-imposed limitations that have confined us for far too long. The future, in all its grandeur, is not a place we will eventually arrive at. It is something we must create, moment by moment, choice by choice. And the way we create it begins with our mindset, the way we approach each moment and each challenge we face. The future does not happen to us, we participate in its unfolding. Every action we take, every thought we entertain, every word we speak is a part of the creation process. And though it is easy to believe that we have little control over the direction of our lives, the truth is that we are the architects of our own destinies. Our thoughts, whether positive or negative, shape the reality we experience. If we continue to view the world through the lens of fear and doubt, we will create a world that reflects those emotions. However, if we choose to embrace courage, hope, and belief in our own power, we begin to craft a world of limitless possibilities. The future is not just something we move toward, it is a reflection of who we are right now. The quality of our lives in the future depends entirely on the decisions and actions we make in the present. This is why it is so important to act with intention. When we move forward with a sense of purpose, we are aligning ourselves with the flow of life, with the natural rhythm of existence that guides us toward our highest potential. Each decision we make is a brushstroke on the canvas of our lives. And when we paint with clarity and passion, the masterpiece that emerges is one of immense beauty and fulfillment. But if we let fear, doubt, and uncertainty guide our actions, we create a fractured and disjointed picture, one that lacks harmony and coherence. It is in this awareness that we come to realize that the way we live today is a direct reflection of the future we will create tomorrow. The choices we make, the way we speak to ourselves and to others, the goals we set, all of these are shaping the reality that will unfold before us. So it is critical to approach life with mindfulness, with the understanding that every action we take is a building block for the future we desire. This level of awareness requires us to cultivate discipline, to be vigilant in our choices, and to take responsibility for the energy we bring into the world. Yet, embracing the future is not just about taking responsibility for what is to come. It is also about surrendering to the natural flow of life. Too often we become attached to specific outcomes, to the way we think things should unfold. We impose rigid expectations on ourselves, and when those expectations are not met, we experience frustration, disappointment, and disillusionment. However, the future is not something that can be forced into a mold. It is not something that can be controlled or predicted. The key to creating a beautiful future lies in our ability to remain open, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that the universe or life is unfolding in the perfect way. This is not to say that we should be passive, but rather that we should be present, responding to each moment with a sense of curiosity and wonder, knowing that everything is moving us toward a greater understanding of who we are. Living with intention does not mean living without mistakes. The future is not a linear progression of success and triumph, but rather a series of moments that involve growth, setbacks, and learning. It is in our failures that we often find our greatest lessons. We are conditioned to view failure as something negative, something to be avoided at all costs. But in reality, failure is a necessary and integral part of the process of growth. Without failure, we cannot learn, we cannot evolve, and we cannot experience the richness of life that comes from overcoming adversity. Failure is not an end, it's a beginning. It is a signal that we are pushing beyond our comfort zones, that we are stretching our capacities, and that we are willing to step into the unknown. And so as we move toward the future, we must be willing to take risks. We must be willing to fail, to stumble, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we truly find our strength. The future is not a place where we can hide from discomfort, where we can avoid challenge. It is a place where we are called to embrace discomfort, to confront our deepest fears, and to emerge on the other side stronger and more resilient. This journey toward the future is not one of avoiding pain, but one of embracing it as a catalyst for growth. In the same vein, we must also acknowledge that the future is not a solitary experience. It is interconnected with the experiences of others. The world we are creating is one in which our actions, words, and intentions have an impact on those around us. As we take responsibility for our own journey, we must also recognize the collective nature of our existence. We are not isolated beings, but part of a vast web of life. The choices we make not only affect our own futures, but also the futures of those around us. This is why it is so important to approach the future with empathy and compassion. As we move forward, we must also support others in their journeys, recognizing that each person is doing the best they can with the resources they have. This interconnectedness calls us to live with awareness, to recognize that we are all part of something much larger than ourselves. The future is not just about achieving personal success. It is about contributing to the greater good, to the collective evolution of humanity. As we strive to create the future we desire, we must ask ourselves, how can my actions, my choices, my presence in this world contribute to the betterment of others? This is the question that will guide us toward a future that is not only successful but meaningful. It is in the relationships we build, the communities we nurture, and the love we share that we find true fulfillment. The future is not something to be feared, nor is it something to be blindly followed. It is a blank canvas waiting for us to paint our masterpiece. It is a reflection of who we are, of the choices we make, and of the intentions we hold. The future is not separate from us, it is us. It is a mirror that reflects our innermost desires, our highest aspirations, and our deepest truths. As we move toward it, we must remember that we are not mere passengers on this journey, but the creators of it. The future is in our hands. The question is, what will we do with it? In choosing to respond with courage, you set a powerful example for others. Your growth becomes a source of inspiration, a reminder that they too have the power to rise above their circumstances. You do not need to have all the answers or to be perfect. All you need is the willingness to try, to show up, and to give your best. This willingness, this determination to keep moving forward, is what separates those who achieve their dreams from those who settle for less. It is not about talent, luck, or external resources. It is about the inner fire that refuses to be extinguished. This fire, this drive to grow and evolve, is not something you need to create. It is already within you, waiting to be unleashed. It is the part of you that knows you are capable of more, the part of you that refuses to settle for mediocrity. When you tap into this inner fire, you become unstoppable. You realize that no external circumstance can define your worth or dictate your potential. You are the creator of your reality, the architect of your future. And with this realization, you step into a world of limitless possibilities, where your dreams are not just distant fantasies, but tangible goals within your reach. Through this journey, you will discover a profound truth, that the greatest success is not found in the destination, but in the person you become along the way. It is in the strength you build, the wisdom you gain, and the love you cultivate for yourself. These are the true rewards, the treasures that no one can take away from you. They are the foundation upon which you can build a life of purpose, fulfillment, and joy. The moments of transformation in life often come disguised as challenges, disruptions, or moments of profound uncertainty. These are the crossroads that seem to demand more of us than we think we can give. Yet, if we pause to look deeper, we realize that these moments are not here to treat us, but to awaken a part of us that has been dormant. Life, in its infinite wisdom, presents us with opportunities disguised as obstacles, urging us to shed the layers of doubt, fear, and complacency that have held us back. The truth is, the greatest growth comes not when everything is smooth and predictable, but when we are called to rise above circumstances, to see beyond the immediate, and to step into a version of ourselves that is more aligned with our true potential. At the heart of this transformation is the understanding that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are not defined by what happens to you, but by how you choose to respond. The power of choice is one of the most profound gifts we possess, yet it is often overlooked. Each moment presents a choice to shrink in the face of adversity or to rise with courage and determination. It is in these choices that our character is forged. You may not always have control over external events, but you always have control over your mindset, your attitude, and your actions. This realization is the key to unlocking your inner strength. It is the beginning of a journey where you move from merely surviving to thriving, from reacting to creating, from fear to love. As you navigate the challenges before you, it's essential to recognize that every difficulty carries within it a lesson. Life does not place obstacles in your path arbitrarily. Each one is tailored to teach you something specific, to help you grow in ways you may not yet understand. This perspective shifts the narrative from "why is this happening to me?" to "what is this teaching me?" When you approach life with this sense of curiosity and openness, you begin to see that even the most painful experiences have a purpose. They are here to refine you, to strip away the illusions and bring you closer to the essence of who you truly are. This process is not always comfortable, nor is it meant to be. Growth often feels like breaking, because it requires us to let go of the familiar, even when the familiar is no longer serving us. It asks us to step into the unknown, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust in a process that we cannot fully control. But within this discomfort lies the seed of transformation. Just as a seed must break open to sprout, so too must we be willing to let go of old patterns, beliefs, and ways of being that no longer align with our highest selves. This letting go is not a loss, but a liberation. It creates space for something new, something greater to emerge. In these moments of growth, you will encounter resistance, both from within and without. The mind, conditioned by years of habit and fear, will try to pull you back into the comfort zone. It will whisper doubts, magnify fears, and create stories of limitation. But these voices are not the truth. They are echoes of the past, remnants of a self that you are outgrowing. The key is not to fight these voices, but to observe them with compassion. Recognize them for what they are, and choose not to let them dictate your actions. Instead, anchor yourself in the present moment where your true power lies. Here in the now, you are not your fears, your doubts, or your past. You are the awareness behind them, the infinite presence that cannot be defined or diminished. As you move forward, you will also encounter external resistance. There will be those who question your choices, who doubt your dreams, or who resist your growth because it challenges their own comfort zones. This resistance is not a reflection of you, but of their own fears. It is important to remember that your journey is yours alone. You are not here to live according to the expectations of others, but to fulfill the unique purpose that only you can fulfill. This requires courage. Not just the courage to face challenges, but the courage to be true to yourself. It requires you to trust your intuition, to follow the quiet voice within that knows the way even when the path ahead is unclear. In trusting yourself, you begin to cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness. You start to recognize the patterns, habits, and beliefs that have been shaping your life, often unconsciously. This awareness is the first step toward change, because you cannot change what you do not acknowledge. As you become more aware, you gain the power to choose differently. You start to align your thoughts, words, and actions with the person you want to become, rather than the person you have been. This alignment creates a ripple effect, transforming not only your inner world, but also your external reality. One of the most powerful shifts you can make is to move from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Scarcity tells you there is not enough time, not enough resources, not enough opportunities. It creates a sense of lack, which fuels fear and competition. But abundance reminds you that the universe is infinite, that there is always enough for those who are willing to see it, to claim it, and to create it. This shift requires you to let go of comparison and to focus instead on your own journey. It invites you to celebrate your uniqueness, to honor your gifts, and to trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by. As you embrace this mindset, you begin to see challenges not as barriers, but as stepping stones. Each one is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to expand. They are not here to defeat you, but to prepare you for the next level of your journey. And as you rise to meet these challenges, you discover strengths you didn't know you had. You realize that you are capable of more than you ever imagined, that your potential is not limited by your circumstances, but by your willingness to believe in yourself. This belief in yourself is not about arrogance or ego. It is about recognizing your inherent worth. It is about understanding that you are not here by accident but by design. You have a purpose, a contribution to make, and a light to shine. The world needs your unique gifts, your voice, and your perspective. And when you step into this truth, you not only transform your own life, but also inspire those around you to do the same. This inspiration does not come from preaching or persuading, it comes from being. When you live authentically, when you embrace your growth with courage and grace, you become a beacon of possibility for others. You show them not through words, but through action. What is possible when you choose to rise above fear and step into your power? You become a reminder that we are all capable of greatness, that we all have the strength within us to overcome, to evolve, and to thrive. Through this journey, you may find that the most profound changes are not in what you achieve, but in who you become. The external achievements, the goals reached, the milestones celebrated are reflections of the internal transformation. They are the evidence of the growth, the resilience, and the determination that you have cultivated. But the true reward is the sense of alignment, purpose, and fulfillment that comes from living in harmony with your highest self. It is the peace that arises when you know you are on the right path, the joy that comes from embracing life in all its fullness. The world we live in is a reflection of the inner world we nurture. Often we look outward, trying to find the answers to our deepest questions in the faces of others, the outcomes of events, or the validation of society. But the real journey, the one that brings true clarity and fulfillment, is the one that unfolds within. It is a journey that requires us to pause, to silence the noise of the external world, and to listen to the quiet voice inside us. This voice is not loud, it does not demand attention, but it is always there, guiding us, waiting for us to turn inward and seek its wisdom. The key to transformation lies in recognizing that the answers we seek are not somewhere out there, but within us, waiting to be uncovered. When we think about change, we often focus on external factors, changing jobs, moving to a new city, starting a new relationship. While these can bring a sense of renewal, they are often temporary solutions to deeper, unresolved issues. True change begins when we confront ourselves, when we ask the hard questions, and sit with the discomfort of not knowing. This is not a process that happens overnight. It takes patience, courage, and a willingness to see ourselves not as we wish to be seen, but as we truly are. And in that honesty, we begin to unlock the potential for growth. We see the patterns that no longer serve us, the beliefs that limit us, and the fears that keep us small. These realizations are the first steps toward liberation. The beauty of life lies in its constant evolution. Nothing remains static, not the seasons, not the tides, and certainly not us. Yet we often resist change, clinging to the familiar even when it no longer aligns with who we are becoming. This resistance stems from fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of losing what we hold dear. But life, in its infinite wisdom, does not allow us to remain stagnant. It nudges us, sometimes gently, sometimes forcefully, toward growth. And when we embrace this flow, when we stop resisting and start trusting, we discover a world of possibilities we never imagined. This trust is not blind. It is a deep, intuitive knowing that the universe operates in balance. For every challenge, there is a lesson. For every loss, there is a gain. For every ending, there is a new beginning. This balance does not always make sense to the mind, which craves logic and certainty, but it resonates with the heart. The heart understands that life is not about control, but about surrender. It is about dancing with the rhythm of existence, allowing ourselves to be carried by the currents rather than fighting against them. And in this surrender, we find freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, sadness is a peculiar thing. It creeps in quietly, often unnoticed, until it has settled within us, like a shadow that stretches across the landscape of our minds. It feels heavy, unmovable, as if it were a permanent part of who we are. But sadness is not a destination, nor is it a prison. It is not something we are bound to forever. It is a visitor, a transient state that arises, lingers, and eventually moves on when we stop holding it captive. To find your way out of sadness, the first step is not to resist it. Resisting sadness only strengthens its grip. When you label it as wrong, when you fight against it, you create a struggle. And in that struggle, you become entangled in its presence, unable to see a way forward. Instead, acknowledge sadness. Let it be what it is without judgment. Allow yourself to feel its texture, its depth, its weight. This doesn't mean surrendering to despair. It means understanding that sadness is a part of being alive. Like the clouds that obscure the sun, sadness is not permanent. The sun is always there, waiting to emerge when the clouds disperse. Sadness, as with all emotions, is often misunderstood. It can arrive without warning, sneaking up on you in a quiet moment or after a long period of happiness catching you off guard. It can feel all-encompassing, as though the weight of the world is upon your shoulders. But the truth is that sadness is not something that is meant to be feared or fought against. It is a visitor, a transient emotion, not a permanent part of who you are. Just like the weather, sadness comes and goes, and it is only through resisting it that we prolong its stay. The first step in finding your way out of sadness is recognizing that it is a temporary state, not a permanent condition. It is not something you are doomed to carry forever, nor is it something that defines your worth or your existence. When sadness arrives, many people instinctively want to push it away, to ignore it, or to mask it with distractions. This resistance, however, only strengthens the emotion, as if trying to fight a current that you cannot see. Instead, you need to allow sadness to be exactly what it is. Acknowledge it as a natural part of the human experience. In doing so, you are not allowing it to take over your life, but instead accepting that it has come to teach you something about yourself, your thoughts, your beliefs, or your circumstances. It is only through acknowledgement that we can truly begin to understand what sadness has to offer. When we stop resisting, we make space for something much deeper, the ability to reflect, to grow, and to move forward. This does not mean wallowing in sadness, nor does it mean giving up or surrendering to despair. It means simply accepting sadness as a natural visitor that has arrived to bring a message, one that is unique to each individual. The message could be anything from the recognition of unmet needs to the realization of something we may have been ignoring or suppressing for too long. Often, sadness comes to surface what has been buried beneath the layers of our daily lives, what we have been too busy to notice, or too afraid to confront. It could be the longing for something lost or the fear of something uncertain. But whatever it is never random. Every emotion has a purpose, and sadness too is purposeful. By accepting its presence, we begin to peel away the layers of confusion, revealing the clarity beneath. Once we accept sadness, we open the door to healing, because healing does not come through avoidance. It comes through understanding and integration. To move through sadness, we must stop denying its presence and start listening to it. Often, sadness is accompanied by a desire to run away, to distract ourselves, to cover it up with business, substances, or mindless entertainment. But all this does is prolong the process of facing what we need to face. By resisting, we keep ourselves stuck in the cycle. True freedom lies in turning toward the sadness and embracing the vulnerability that it brings. It is in this vulnerability that we find strength, because it is only through the courage to feel that we are able to truly heal. The next step in finding your way out of sadness is to embrace the present moment without resistance. The present moment, with all its imperfections and challenges, holds the key to everything. It is easy to become consumed by what has already happened, to dwell on the past and allow it to shape our present experience. The past can be a heavy burden to carry, and we may find ourselves reliving moments of pain, regret, or sorrow over and over again. But the past is gone. It is no longer here, and it no longer has the power to control how you experience this moment. The more you focus on past events or mistakes, the further you are from the freedom of the present. When sadness lingers, it often drags us into the past, where we replay events and think about how things could have been different. But these thoughts only trap us in an endless loop of regret and longing. In reality, the only thing we can change is how we respond to the present moment. The present moment is where all transformation takes place. It is where we can find the stillness to heal, where we can accept and process what is happening, and where we can choose to shift our mindset. When sadness appears, we have a choice. We can either dwell on the past and allow it to shape our current reality, or we can choose to embrace the present moment and allow it to guide us toward the future. This doesn't mean pretending that everything is fine when it's not, nor does it mean ignoring your emotions. It means accepting that in this moment you are exactly where you need to be. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. The future may be uncertain, but it is full of potential. And in the present, you have the power to change your experience. Truly embrace the present moment. You must let go of the need to control it. When we try to control everything around us, we create resistance, and resistance only prolongs our suffering. Sadness cannot be forced away, nor can it be banished with sheer willpower. Instead, let it be. Allow it to come and go naturally, like the tides of the ocean. It is not permanent. The more you try to hold on to it, the more it will cling to you. But when you release your grip and allow it to pass, it will eventually dissipate, leaving you with clarity and space for growth. In the present moment, we find the freedom to be who we truly are, free from the constraints of the past and the anxieties of the future. When we accept sadness without judgment or resistance, we allow ourselves to heal, to grow, and to transform. The sadness that we experience is not the end of the road. It is not a sign of weakness. It is a part of the ebb and flow of life, and it is here to teach us. By embracing it fully, we can move through it with grace and find a deeper understanding of ourselves. And in doing so, we uncover the strength that lies within us all to rise above it, to move forward, and to create a life that is truly free. The human spirit, at its core, is a reservoir of limitless potential, waiting to be tapped into. Yet so often people find themselves confined by the invisible walls of doubt, fear, and hesitation. These walls are not built by the world outside, but by the stories we tell ourselves, the narratives we adopt about what is possible and what is not. It is here, in the silent chambers of the mind, that the battle is waged. Every hesitation, every excuse, every whispered fear is a brick in the wall that keeps us from stepping into the fullness of our potential. But the truth, the undeniable and liberating truth, is that the power to break free from these constraints has always been within us. It does not lie in external validation, material possessions, or the opinions of others. It lies in the quiet decision to no longer accept limitations as truths. When you decide to shift your perspective, the world itself seems to shift. Obstacles that once appeared insurmountable begin to reveal themselves as challenges designed to strengthen you. They are not here to break you, but to mold you into someone who knows their own power. Someone who understands that the only true limitations are the ones we accept. The key is not in fighting against the current, but in recognizing that you are the current. You are the force that can carve a path through any landscape. When you stop looking outside of yourself for permission to succeed, instead turn inward, you discover that the permission was always yours to give. This shift begins with a single profound realization that you are not your past, your failures, or your doubts. You are the awareness behind those experiences. The past, no matter how heavy, is not a chain meant to bind you. It is a lesson meant to guide you. Yet so many people carry their past with them as though it defines their future. They replay moments of regret, guilt, or sorrow, allowing these memories to shape their present reality. But the past is not alive. It only exists in your mind. The moment you choose to let go of its hold, you liberate yourself to create something entirely new. You are not tethered to who you were yesterday, last year, or a decade ago. Each moment is an opportunity to reinvent yourself, to step into a version of you that is wiser, stronger, and more aligned with your true essence. This reinvention does not require a dramatic overhaul of your life. It begins in the smallest of moments, in the quiet decisions you make every day. It is in the choice to take one more step when you feel like giving up. It is in the decision to speak kindly to yourself when the world feels harsh. It is in the commitment to show up for your dreams, even when the path ahead is unclear. These small, consistent acts of courage and self-love create a ripple effect that transforms your entire reality. You do not need to wait for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Perfection is an illusion, a construct designed to keep you from starting. All you need is the willingness to begin, to trust that each step will reveal the next. As you embark on this journey, you will inevitably encounter resistance. Resistance is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, it is a sign that you are growing. Growth is uncomfortable because it requires you to leave behind the familiar, the safe, and the predictable. It asks you to step into the unknown, to face your fears head on. But within this discomfort lies your greatest power. Every time you push through resistance, you expand your capacity for courage, resilience, and self-belief. You begin to see that the things you once feared were never as powerful as you imagined. They were shadows cast by your own mind, dissipating the moment you turn to face them. This process of growth is not linear. There will be moments of doubt, setbacks, and challenges that test your resolve. But these moments are not failures, they are opportunities to deepen your understanding of yourself. They are reminders that success is not about never falling, but about always getting back up. Each setback is a stepping stone, a chance to recalibrate and refine your approach. The path to greatness is not a straight line, it is a winding road with twists, turns, and detours. But every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your destination. As you continue to grow, you will begin to notice a shift in how you see the world. What once felt overwhelming will start to feel manageable. What once seemed impossible will begin to feel within reach. This is not because the world has changed, but because you have. Your perspective, your mindset, and your belief in yourself have transformed. You start to see obstacles as opportunities, failures as feedback, and challenges as invitations to rise higher. You realize that the power to shape your reality has always been in your hands. It is not about what happens to you, it is about how you choose to respond.